All right, welcome back to season 3 of our show. And today we have a very special one for you. Lost Tradition Foods, Hog Maws. We're showing you how to get them done. So right here we have Hog Maws. Now a lot of people aren't familiar with these, but what these are, aka tripe, pig tripe, stomach of a pig. Now this is a traditional food and it dates back in our history, African American history. And this was mixed with chitterlings, or chitterlings, what some people will call them, which is pig intestine. So this is the stomach, and it's normally cooked with the intestine, but today we're just cooking the pig stomach. Now the nice thing about these, a lot of people don't know about these, but these are absolutely delicious. If you clean off the fat on them, they're basically a fat-free piece of meat. So what we'll do is just start opening these up. Now because it's a stomach, it's in the shape of a bowl. Now in some cultures, they'll actually stuff these. First thing you want to do is start just peeling any of this excess fat. Once you get the fat off, there is no fat. So just get this little fat off of them right here. So if you want a fat-free food, this is it. Once you get that fat off of here, you have none. So take your knife and you're going to scrape along, just like this. They're pretty time consuming just to get them cleaned up, but once you get them cleaned up, they're pretty good. Now these, I soaked in vinegar overnight. Now back in my day, a lot of people would make a big deal about this. You know, we'd have family affairs, and this would be the first thing that took off was the hog maws and the chitlins. So the hog maws and the chitlins would be the first thing that you had to get a plate out and get a hold of them, because this was a delicacy in the African American culture. So in every family, I don't remember a family that didn't have this and didn't grow up on this in our day. And now today, it's a lost tradition, unfortunately. You bring these up to the kids today and they eat it, but they don't know what they're missing. So we're going to try to bring it back and try to bring back lost tradition. And this is why it's so important to cook with your kids and let your kids take these recipes back home in any culture. I don't care what it is. And African Americans weren't the only people that ate this. This dates back from slave days. And it's a dynamite meal. I mean, I live in the South, and let me tell you something. There's a lot of everybody down here that eats this. So you got to cut them like that, and just like that, and just cut them like that in pieces. So it's very important how you cut these because they make the whole dish. You got to put them in strips like that, and some of them just put smaller than others. And into the basket they go. So make sure you get them real clean, just like that, and off on any fat. Now it's funny, the people that really didn't know how to clean this, they make a big deal about it. Oh, it's got to be clean. Oh, this has got to be that. Oh, you have to be very careful with that. You can get very sick. You know what? It's like any other piece of meat. You still have to be very careful with it anyway. Now chitlins, on the other hand, that are the intestines, you have to be extremely careful with those and rinse those well. Now this, watch this. I'm going to take my knife and just work the fat out of here. And just cut that piece off. And just get all the fat out of here. Just like that. Just scraping the inner wall of the stomach. These foods that are lost. I mean, you eat stuff like this, this'll have your kids looking like a brick house. You have children and grow up eating this stuff, you can run through a brick wall. I mean, this is, you want to get a healthy kid, feed them this. You gotta be a linebacker. And a lumberjack. So that's what that food is. It's hearty food. It's food that fills the belly, and it's good food. And that's what I grew up on. So I'm going to get to cutting these. I'm going to get them in here and I'm going to show you the next step and we're going to go from there. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we got our hog maws all nice and cleaned up. And I'm just going to show you these. See, I cut them into nice little strips here and look how clean those are. I mean, I just took my time and just got all that fat out of there and they are immaculate. So let's get these off to the side. You know, while we're putting this together, I'm just going to talk about a lot of foods back in the days that just, they're not around anymore. So a lot of family members pass away and they take these recipes with them because a lot of the other family members, they don't learn how to do this. And it's a shame to really lose that tradition in any culture, any family. And hopefully some of you that are watching this video might not do a lot, but I hope that it holds the culture together. This video is just, I'm putting it out there just to keep tradition alive. And that's what we need to do today, just keep all of our values or traditions alive. And if one of you guys see this video and make this and like this, then I did my job. All right, so let's get these onion in. Now you're gonna use a lot of the fresh onion, because this is what really makes the dish. I know you guys are saying, looks like a lot of onion, but it's really not. But you just gotta get them in, just like that. They're gonna cook down. This pot's gonna cook for about 3 hours. That's how long it's gonna take to break this down. So it's a good breakdown. It's a very simple dish. So you got your onion, a couple of bay leaves, just like that. 2 types of pepper. We got red chili and we got black, which we'll put in just a second. And we gotta go with our celery. Now this celery is really, I'm gonna chop off the ends here, but this celery is really gonna make this dish. If you don't put the celery, you really don't have this dish down pat, because the celery is, it's key. A lot of people would say that celery has no flavor, but it does. So just get it chopped down. Now what I do, I'll take the pieces like this and I'm just gonna chop them up again. It's a little rough chop there. And they're basically gonna cook down to nothing after 3 hours in here. And that's what you want. And at the end, we'll get a little fresh garlic in here. But for now, we're going to use some garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. So the smaller pieces I get down to the bottom, the bigger ones I cut up like that. The smaller ones, I'm just going to get right in there. Like I said, this is going to really cook down. And it's going to make a gravy. And that's what you want. Because this piece of meat by itself, so meaty and delicious and tender. No bones in there. I mean, it's 100% edible. You can eat every drop of that meat. That's what makes that meat such a beautiful dish. It's not the best looking before cooked, but after cooked, on the side of this with some white rice on the side to accompany this, that's what that gets accompanied with, some white rice. It's a gorgeous dish. All right, so we got this up here now, and in here is garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. So we're just gonna get that in there. Now there's no salt in here. I'm not adding any salt to this. So we're just gonna get that in there like that, a good douse of that. Black pepper. We had the chili flake in there, so here's the black pepper. You need both, the chili flake and the black pepper, so it's gonna bring that flavor. And what I'll do from here is I'm just gonna mix it in. No salt. The salt comes at the end. And the reason why you wanna salt this at the end is because you wanna taste this. And And this dish, it is customary to eat this with hot sauce. So you will put hot sauce on this. So you really have to watch your salt levels, because if you want to use the hot sauce and this is salty, then it's going to be too salty. So always watch the salt intake, especially if you're going to top it with something salty like hot sauce. You want to watch that salt intake, just so you get the pleasure of putting some hot sauce on here, because if it's too salty, you're not going to want to use the hot sauce, and the hot sauce makes all the difference in the world. All right, now that we got that, I'm going to go in with a little bit more of that garlic, onion powder, and paprika, just to get that nice red color in there and that flavor. Looks delicious already. All right, so what we'll do from here is we're going to add some water. Now a lot of this is going to evaporate, so you're going to have to add more water. And 3-hour cook. So it's 3 hours on top of the stove to get that perfect consistency. So we're just gonna get them in. You see how much this made. And this is a pretty big pot. It's a 7 quart. And these will cook down, of course. I started with 5 pounds. I got to cook down to about 4. They don't cook down as much as chitlins do, but they will cook down. All right, so a lot of you guys out there, have you seen your moms make this, or your grandparents make this, or your great-grands and great-great-greats? Here it is. I mean, this is the staple of the South. Hog Maws. Delicious. All right, we're gonna get these onto the stove. I'm gonna meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we are 10 minutes on this stove, and I'm just gonna show you what we got going on here. So this is 10 minutes in, and I'm bringing them up to a real slow boil. And once they came up to a boil here, I just put them on simmer. And that's what you want. So you want a nice, easy, gentle cook. You don't want a hard roll on this. You just want a nice, easy cook. So you can see a couple of those bubbles coming up from there. And that's what you want. Now I stirred it, and I knocked down a couple of those bubbles, but you want a nice, easy roll. And we'll show you this probably in about an hour and a half to show you how far we got into here. It's not going to really look much different, but we're going to show it to you anyway, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we are about 2 hours in, and I just want to show you this cook. That's about 2 hours in. So you really don't tell the difference, but if you take your spoon and put it up against here, if they don't cut through tender, I should be able just to go right through this, but it's still rubbery. Perfect word for it. If it feels like a rubber band, they're not ready yet. This should just cut right through with ease. So we're gonna let these go probably 3.5, 4 hours on these, depending. They could even go longer. So just go into their fork tender, and that's it. We're gonna pull them after they're done, and we'll meet you onto the table. Don't go anywhere. All right, our hog maws are all done. Take a look at those. Now let's plate up. So we got some white rice. This is how this gets served. And then we're going to take our hog maws, and we're going to put them right on the top. Just like that. I'm going to add a little juice in here. And this is a must. You got to hit this with some hot sauce. Just a touch, just like that. Maybe a little bit more. And there it is. Classic, traditional, old school hog maws and white rice. I mean, that just dates back to a lot of people's heritage. All right. And there it is. Hog maws. a classic. And if you like this video, with more videos about to come, don't forget to give a like, hit that bell, this way you get all those notifications first. Thank you, we enjoyed having you. With no further ado, look at that little pitmaster taste there.